The referendum we had about Brexit, jumping out through the window, we voted to jump through the window. We haven't jumped, or we haven't voted where we're going to land, or whether the window was actually open when we jumped, which might explain some of the cuts and bruises on the way. With the referendum, it was a this or that question for a start.
Initially, it was a yes or no question, and this is what David Cameron has suggested, and it then went to the Electoral Commission, and they said, no, it has to be, it can't be yes or no, it has to be something else, so they just changed it to remain or leave. But that was a semantic. As you say, it's like jumping out the window and you don't know where you're going to land. That's what the word leave means. You're leaving something behind. It's a negative thing. You don't like what you are in, and so you jump through the window. But you do not know, as you say, where you're going to land. We still don't know what the 52% people want. We know what the 48% want. That's fine. They want to stay. They want to remain. They want to stay in the EU, and everybody knows what the EU is. But the 52%, we don't know what they want. So as soon as they had jumped out of the window, they then had another argument. Again, it was dichotomy. Do you want a soft Brexit or a hard exit? And they've been fighting each other ever since.
Could this have been somehow embraced by the referendum in the first place?
Yes, if we'd had a multi-choice referendum.
For example?
Which is, if we'd had, I put out a press release in February 2016 saying, why don't we have three options: stay in the EU, remain in the EU, or join the EEA, the European Economic Area, like Norway, or have nothing at all and just go onto the WTO, the World Trade Organization. So you could have had those three options. And in which case, if 48% were staying in the EU, then you might have had the 52% divided between the other two, so 26% for the WTO and 26% for the European Economic Area. So Remain wins, hands down, by a... So it's the methodology that determines the answer, not the will of the voters. This is crazy.
Describe preferendum to me a little bit, please.
Basically, you have a choice. You allow for a debate to start the process, and if somebody wants this and somebody wants that and somebody wants that and somebody else has another idea, okay, let's have a debate, let's talk about all the options on the table, to use the expression from the Belfast peace talks. And if you have all the options on the table, then why can't you have all the options on the ballot paper? And also, democracy has come to be a very adversarial win or lose, and I beat you, and I'm bigger than you, I'm 51%, you're only 49, therefore I win and you can go to places. Democracy is for everybody, and it shouldn't be a win or lose. It should be a coming together, and you want this and I want that, and you have a compromise. At the end of the day, it should be a compromise. And you can do this, but you can't do it in a yes-no vote. A yes-no is divisive. It's a divisive voting system, and people do divide as a consequence. And sometimes, like in Northern Ireland, people are divided already, and it just makes matters worse, like the Borda poll of 1973. And sometimes, like in England, where initially they were not divided, but they are now. And it's terrible, actually. And if we'd had a multi-option vote in 2016, then, well, I think Joe Cox would still be alive. But with the Brexit vote, it was impossible. Mathematically, logically, in every which way, it was impossible.
Well, we are where we are, or are we? What do you suggest can be done about it now?
Well, if you look at the situation in Parliament, there's no majority for anything. And it's probably fair to say that in the country as a whole, in the UK as a whole, there is no majority for anything. And so, unfortunately, people are even obsessed with the idea that it has to be a majority vote. Now, you can get a majority opinion by a majority vote if there are only two options on the table. But if the debate is multi-optional, then taking a two-option vote is illogical and nonsensical and crazy, and you can't do it. And if you have this thinking of everybody, and it's not just me trying to beat you and be more numerous than you and be stronger than you, and I mean, force of numbers is so much better than force of arms sometimes. Mm-hmm. And if you look at some of the crazy situations where majority voting has been used, like in the Balkans, and are you Serb or are you Croat? And if you're mixed marriage or the child of a mixed marriage, well, forget it. You're disenfranchised. You're not even on the ballot paper. You can't vote for compromise. You can't vote for peace. It doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. You are forced to take sides.
Which it actually starts wars.
It starts war, yeah. Yes, and all the wars in the Balkans started with a referendum.
So if we had a referendum with 5 options, for example, the one you like best you give 5 points to, second best 4 points, and so on, and that would bring in, you'd have to vote for them all though in order for you to have your top preference getting those 5 points.
Yeah, so if somebody abstains, which some people will abstain probably, then okay, that's their right, I suppose, or it's a funny right, but never mind. But if you do abstain, then you have no influence on the final result. And if you participate partially, then you have a partial influence. And there will be some people who do have objections and very strong objections for whatever reason. Then you, okay, well that's if that's what you want to do, then that's what you can do. But if you want to be a real Democrat and to participate fully in the process, then you are encouraged by the voting system itself to state all your preferences, to put all the options in your order of preference. And in which case, if with 5 options, yes, your first preference will get 5 points and your second 4, 3, 2, 1. But if you only vote for one option, and if you say nothing about the other options, then you will only get 1 point for your favourite and 0, 0, 0, 0.
So the idea of giving 1 point to the one you like least, psychologically, you are giving them the right to have that opinion, even though you may not have it yourself, but they're part of the overall strategy.
You're including them as your neighbours. It's a bit like asking the vegetarian, would you like beef or lamb? It's just a silly question. And the Brexit vote of 2016 was a silly question. And we should have had a choice, so if you want this and I want that and somebody else wants something, let people actually express their opinions as to what they want. Everything is multi-optional. If you're talking about planning proposals or economic policies or budgets or whatever, I mean, life is pretty complicated, even between 2 people, let alone between 1 million.
And they're here from every land with a plan for the clan and a way to their own way to freedom. And if we can't agree, we can always let it be a higher quality of disagreement.
Oh, very good.
Peter Emerson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.